Yeah, I deleted the last email or the last video. Yeah. I've been to movies that were just rated R really, yeah, that I didn't like. And I didn't really like thinking about it. So I deleted the last video. But for those that have seen what I just said, it's something you would want to look at. Yes. Because I think that there are some real abuses and the manipulations of the sexuality of the nation. Now, I'm I'm not one to do this whole fist, yes, as in here, is your notice of court hearing, sheriff's department. But that was my experience when I got served, in 2013. Now, I've seen the fist before, yes. That we're the brotherhood, isn't that right? Yes. And the fist is useful when needing to explain exactly what it is that you're trying to communicate. But for each of those in law enforcement that thought the fist was a form of, well, sensuality, not very good. So I deleted the last the video because I did see some movies that I really didn't like, and I was over the age of 17. Yeah, I had the legal right to go there, and Northwest University may have questioned my decision making as if it were Christian or non Christian. But when you have a certain sensitivity, I don't think I sat for the whole movie. I walked out thinking that I don't really like that. Now I know that a lot of Christian institutions, they feel like the rules are there to be followed, and if you violate the morals and values of Christianity, yes, Northwest University, yeah, you really should be expelled. Now, I talked to you about this perversion. Yes. I emailed Joseph Castleberry and quite a few of the alumni of Northwest University. Then I mentioned Mike Van Proyen having been a graduate of Northwest University. Yes. Uh, you know, I'm thinking you got a bachelor's degree just like I did. Oh, maybe you got a master's degree from your seminary. Yeah. Why don't you give me all the alumni of each and every seminary of Evangelical right now? Now, there's a good probability Northwest is getting sued. Yes. I was a graduate of Northwest. Heidi was a graduate of Northwest. And then there's Heidi enrolling my sons in grades that are 2 years behind where they should be, as well as the fraud. And then Mike getting all the court notices that I didn't get because of the court right now. So why don't we go through the alumni, yes, of each and every Christian school and university of the United States of America? Yeah, their actual faculty. Yeah. And then exactly how much did I pay for that Christian education because it was a private school? Yes. Probably $15,000 a year. I mean, when you think about board and room and tuition and the actual cost of living there, and I did go there 5 years. I got my AA from there. Got my degree in organizational management from Northwest University. Then, of course, Heidi got her organizational management degree from that Assembly God school. Now, I know she'd say she's Baptist, but I'm thinking that there is some liability. Not liability as in just the mandatory reporters that have knowledge of the fraud of having court hearings where I was not served a notice of court hearings. Yes. There's no actual signature on the order of protection from the petitioner. Yes. There's no due process to myself. Yes. And the wrongful execution of service, where it was not the sheriff that served me in the Sequim Public Library, poop. But for every Christian university that does have knowledge of the corrupt fraud of their alumni, I think Northwest is legally liable right now. Now, I don't want to be all hardwood on this, yeah. And I know a retired Navy chaplain was very dear, was lovely, really lovely. But I just wanted the whole faculty of Northwest University to know that when Mike decided to use an image of my sister as Marilyn Van Proyen, any knowledge of fraud, violence, intimidation, abuse, and then the violating of the adoption laws. Yes. I will sue Northwest for the actual ownership of every fucking asset right now. Now, who is it in Kirkland, Washington? Yes, Kirkland Police Department. Police Department. That does not see the crime. Does not see. Does not see. Why don't you get me every police officer in the Kirkland Police Department? Yeah. You would have thought after thousands of emails to my, well, I have two actual degrees from Northwest University, an associate's degree and organizational management degree. Yes. Then I did download certain information from there, from my alma mater. This thought of keeping my sons. I think I actually own the university now. Now, you would say it's an important university, and I would say, well, looks like office space to me. I mean, how expensive is a place to work in Kirkland? I mean, what is the square footage cost? I don't give a fuck about your chapel. I will sue you for the actual ownership of all the property and assets of Northwest University. I will fire every faculty member, and I will convert every building into office space and lease it out to whatever business that wants to do business there. Now, after 2 million emails, Joseph Castleberry, why don't you stupid fucks right now make it a point to contact the police that my sons are being retarded because of the fraud of my wife and Marilyn Van Proyen and her kids that have attended school there are being abused and intimidated by a husband that's violent. Because I don't care how long you've been at that property. Do you fucking understand? I will convert every building to office space, and I'll rent it out to whoever wants to have an office right now. Now, there's a chain conspiracy. A chain conspiracy. See, when you look at conspiracy, where Mike went to Northwest, and I went to Northwest, and Heidi went to Northwest, yes. And Kristen went to Northwest, yeah. Maybe Marilyn spent some time there. I remember when they were newly married. Conspiracy. Why don't you give me every student and every evangelical? Ooh, look at this. The Convention Against Torture. Oh, an international human rights instrument adopted by the General Assembly of the United Nations in December 1984. Yeah. Wouldn't it be considered hostage taking and torture to administer psychotropic medication against the will of a citizen when the police department? I think it would. Now, I could sue Northwest University for having the knowledge of violating the Convention Against Torture. Yes. Because as an academic institution, how'd you like to get another lawsuit today? Joseph Castleberry. As the president of Northwest University, knowing what you know because I emailed you, how is it possible that you could allow your university, yes, to allow for the fraud, the kidnapping, the child abduction? I mean, why is it that you continue to enforce your responsibilities as an institution? You're involved in a conspiracy, a chain conspiracy. Now, conspiracy, yes. See, a lot of people make fun of this stuff, but it's all real because I provided all the documentation and all the evidence. Yes, that you're going to hold me hostage in a mental institution and you're going to torture me against my will right now. I just wanted all the faculty and the students to know Northwest is getting sued, and there won't be a private evangelical Assembly of God. Oh, There's some wood. Conspiracy. Could you get me the actual tuition and the assets of Northwest University? Yes. I know. After. Oh, don't argue with you. Don't argue. Pooch, why don't you get me your assets? You know, when I first got to my grandmother's house, we were having some marital difficulties, and I had called the school asking for prayer. Yes. 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 Don Argue called me back in 2011. We prayed together about what the Lord wanted to do. Pooch. Well, it's 7 years later. Yeah, it's going to be 8 years later in about one day. Poop. Chain conspiracy, a single conspiracy in which each person is responsible for a distinct act within the overall plan, such as an agreement to produce, import, or distribute narcotics. All participants are interested in the overall scheme and liable for all other participants' acts in furtherance of that scheme. Yeah. Now, as a chain, let's call it the loop conspiracy. Why don't you give me every fucking employee of Northwest University right now? I'll sue them all. I'll take every asset. I'll take the property. I will. Well, we have a chain conspiracy where all the participants are interested in the overall scheme, yes, of holding Americans hostage, myself being named, torturing me without any evidence and without a valid protection order, yes, holding my sons hostage and kidnapped, 2 grade levels below where they should be at, and the actual institution where I got my education. Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? All the participants, Joseph Castleberry, Don Argue, Woody Self, are interested in the overall scheme of covering up, yes, the dogs of Mike Van Proyen, J.R. Van Proyen, and then Heidi's use of the school system, yeah, to make lookalikes of actual students, yes, so that the scheme, yes, will be successful because you won't be held liable as participants. Well, torture, hostage taking, fraudulent court hearings, fraudulent court orders, not having any evidence, and then the scheme of government. You as a university no longer own any property. Now, why don't you go ahead and have my sons call me so that I can jerk them out of that fucking school district right now? And then why don't you have Marilyn call me about how we need to hold hands and discuss what we're going to do as a family? Because I think that as the father of her 6 kids, yes, that would be Rachel, yes, Life College. Why don't you give me all the alumni of Life College? And then there's Garrett and Christian. They both went to that Foursquare College, yes. Or Mike, Mike, just give me the actual, give me the property.